What's going on, everybody? It's David Pietek and Dwayne. I got a video for the Kimball. How are you today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm always excited to do these. See
I
what
know.
questions we get.
There's so many questions that people have about VA home loans and disability. So it's kind of a great pairing that we're doing this. So for everyone out there, we're just gonna answer any questions you have. I think today we'll do just a quick update on what's going on with VA disability, the housing market, because a lot of people have questions, a lot of doom and gloom out there, folks.
Woo.
It could be bad, it could be good. We're gonna find out. But Dwayne, what's going on in the world of VA disability right now? Is there drama? Fill us in.
Yeah, so a couple of things. People have been reaching out to me and they say, hey, the VA came out with these proposed changes for the general rating criteria for mental conditions, taking away the 50% for sleep apnea and combining tinnitus with something else. So now you don't get to 10%. Well, I did a video where I was talking about that. The change supposed to be implemented the April, and then people were saying, "Oh, it's supposed to be August." Let me tell you, everyone, the VA will do it when they get ready. Okay, I don't have a magic ball that'll say they're telling me, "Hey, this is when it's going to happen." But most importantly, people are asking, "Well, if that happens, what if I file my claim right now? What if I do an intent to file?" Nobody knows. When that happens, the VA will come out with instructions on if the veteran, effective this date, if the veteran submitted a claim on this date, and then they have to follow those procedures. Okay. But what I've been telling people, David, do not drag your feet. Why aren't you getting that claim in now? Getting the documentation, getting the diagnosis, doing the paper trail, all that stuff. And secondly, the VA is talking about the VA secretary, they're talking about reduction 30,000 people. He
We're
was in front of
reducing the workforce or 30,000 veterans VA disability
no,
rating?
no, workforce.
Okay, I was gonna say, man,
Workforce.
that's like that's a huge difference.
Oh yeah, they thought January a few years ago was bad. 30,000 veterans showed up in DC. Whoo, and they all know how to fight, right? But um also, and I watched some of the testimonies, and I haven't showed any because it's nothing that I feel of substance as it pertains to if a veteran said, "Okay, I'm claiming this secondary," how do I do that, right? They're not talking about that when they're going to testify before Congress. But one of the videos I did see, I think it was MSNBC, one of those news channels somewhere. I was on YouTube. He was saying there's over 400,000 VA employees. I think it was like
What?
469 or something like that. And 400,000 are under VHA, not VBA and NCA. And I didn't even know that. And they're talking
Wow.
about 30,000. So what I tell people, and I talked about this, I think when they were like back in January, February, when they were talking about the 180 or 200,000, if they start talking about those cuts under VBA, the compensation under VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration, that they start talking about cutting VSRs, RVSRs, decision review officers, DROs at the high level review, or judges at BVA, Board of Veterans Appeals, you need to be worried. You need to be worried. Because if you think about it, you got over 400,000. The VA secretary said this, so it's come from him, not me. Over 400,000 people on the VHA. And let's say they say we're going to take 30,000 away from VBA to compensation. I think that's probably, it has to be at least 75% of that workforce.
Wow.
You think that a million claims and inventory is high? They start cutting those VSRs, the people that are doing the work, rating decisions, the CMP exams, all that stuff. It's going to be a bad day.
So how
It's going to
wait,
be a bad day.
did you just say there's a million backlogged VA disability claims out there?
Well, the VA use these trick words, right? So they'll say
Uh,
they don't say they got a number for the backlog. Then they're like, oh, we have over a million claims in inventory. That's the backlog. You got a million claims. I don't care how you word it. It's a million claims sitting there waiting to get done. And I'm gonna tell you something, Dave. Check this out. When I rate it, don't you know I will be sitting here, I would be doing training because my coach was like, I'm like, I don't have any work. And VA employees are still sitting around doing, we call it, I don't know if they still call it this, TMS training, because you have to fill those hours, and we call it
Uh,
excluded time. So I had to make a certain quota in 8 hours. So if I didn't do anything for that hour, now I got to do 8 hours of work within 7 hours of work. But let me go over here and do this TMS training for an hour until hopefully some work comes through. How can you have a million claims in inventory and you got VA employees on the compensation side talking about they need work? It doesn't make sense. And you got, and VA's paying people six figures, giving them these big bonuses, and they can't figure this stuff out.
so
It's
those are the
crazy.
people losing their jobs, or they're getting
No, oh
promoted.
no, 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 no. They getting a bonus.
They
They
get
getting a
the
bonus
bonus.
or
How does
something.
that work, man? Like it's that's wild to me, like how that process is. Because like yeah,
It,
there's definitely a lot of just a lot of news coming out from that on that piece.
I,
Anything else going on with it?
no, that's pretty much it.
That's a lot.
So yeah, and I think and I try not to. I've done some videos on those topics. I try to stay away from them because the veterans, they start to panic.
Yeah,
They start to do things with their claim. Um, submitting the wrong, incorrect information,
because they
going to
rushed through it.
exactly. So, I'm not, and I get it. You need to know, but I tell people, understand where those 30,000 are at. So the last time the VA secretary said VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration, I did a video on that. He said they would not be impacted.
Hmm,
So your claims are safe, but they still get a million claims in inventory.
that's wild. Now, do they count it as individual? Like, hey, one veteran files 10 claims that as 10? Or
No, it's just
they don't
like
say.
it's just like
You
I
just say
can't
a
show
million.
my claims file, but yeah, like one claim. So you have a claim, I have a claim, one, two, three, and some of them are one issues, and then some of them are 30 issues. So if they counted by issue, yeah, we'd probably be around 10 million or something like that.
Jeez, that's crazy. And then
Easy.
and this leads back to what I've been saying for the last 2 years that we've been doing these. Our 2-year anniversary is coming up, Dwayne.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that VA home loans seem to get better and VA disability seems to get worse every 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 month. It's like when we do these, it's like, well, I really don't have good news. And then
Yeah.
I'm over here like, I got great news
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah. It's always like that seesaw effect,
Yeah,
right?
it's a seesaw. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't wait if you're doing it. I mean, and think of it from a housing perspective. And I'll kind of give you guys an update on it. So one big major update. I did a video on the YouTube channel. So if you guys don't know, Dwayne and I are doing this on both of our YouTube channels. You can check out VA Housing Education, KMD 89. And I'll drop those links as well in the chat, and then we're gonna kind of stream them through while we're answering questions. And by the way, guys, this is like a huge Q&A for VA disability. If you got questions about it, and VA home loans, we're gonna answer all that. So right now, a lot of people have been kind of on the sidelines waiting for home values to drop, and they have in certain markets. Surprisingly, it's called price softening. It's like basically home values going down. Okay, it's a decrease in values. It's not like that everywhere, but there's a couple of key markets like Texas and Florida have experienced pretty significant price decreases. I think Denver, Colorado right now is leading with like a 20% or up to 20% price decrease. So it's pretty significant from the height of the market right now. Student loans are defaulting at a record rate, and
Wow.
then basically, I'm going to drop this report here. I believe Friday because it took like an hour just to me talking about it for an hour. There's so much data. And Dwayne, the thing is, a lot of people are fear mongering. They're like, oh, the
Oh,
end of the world is coming. And it's typical, just like you said, like with VA disability, it's the same thing with the housing. Housing is something that you're not, if you're trying to like time the market to flip properties, that's one story. You're investing different. If you're buying it to live in it, it's based on where you're at today in your financial picture. Don't let other people try to fearmonger to you like, oh, I can't believe you bought a house at this time. Like, if you can afford it and you're comfortable with the payments today, that's what you're focusing on.
mhm.
So just think about that. And then, like I said, I'm gonna drop that video here by Friday, talking about the ICE mortgage monitor report. And that's a great video just to like watch in the background or like listen to it while you drive, because you're gonna gain a lot more than your fellows. And then the VA did make an update on VA builders that VA builders no longer required to have what's called a builder ID. Okay, so in one way it's positive, and in another way there's no real checks and balances in a way, because they really didn't do too much, but at least you had that piece going for them. They still do need a builder ID if you are doing a specially adapted housing grant, which I'm going to be talking about in my next videos, because it's huge benefit for folks that can get over 100,000 of money to help renovate their home for their VA disability. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't even know that existed. I just spent 60,000. Can I get my money back?" No, you already spent it. So those are all factors that are going to be like going into this, and you want to be able to understand what that looks like throughout that.
Yeah.
So
And before we move on, Dave,
yeah,
I rated some of those cases.
did
So you
you?
got special adaptive housings, you got
Yeah,
auto allowance. There is criteria that you need to meet. Okay. And a lot of people, they'll ask me, I'm like, all you have to do is go to the M21-1, the manual reference, and do a keyword search, and just type in adaptive. And
yeah.
it'll do that search and you'll find all that criteria. And it's so easy because when you find the criteria, it'll give you 4 or 5 bullet comments. You need to have visual acuity, you need to have foot drop or loss of use of one extremity or one upper,
Oh,
whatever it is, and get your doctor to write a letter. I used to see that. Boom, yep, granted. Service, oh, they service
ah,
connected for this, they service connected for that. They got loss of use, they got this. Oh, they meet the criteria. Boom, it's granted. It's just that simple. I
that's
need a doctor to say when loss of use, ankylosis, or whatever it is, whatever that criteria is, take it to your doctor. Hey, do I have this? Yes, I need you to put that on a letterhead and send it to the VA.
wow. So that, I mean, that's huge, because I mean that's a lot of money. If you guys
Oh
don't know
yeah.
about renovations, like I'm doing too, it is unbelievably expensive. Things come up out of nowhere all the time, and before you know it, you're going to be 80,000 into something you thought was going to cost you like 30.
Just a side note, we're still we have to redo our a bathroom, master bath from the hurricane last year. We had some water, right? Don't you know we were getting quotes because they said, "Oh, well, this side is not damaged, but this side is, so you have to come in." They have to come in and redo the whole thing. One bathroom, one bathroom. I got a quote for $100,000.
What? I just redid a whole house for 80.
I was like,
100 for a bathroom.
"Yeah," and they dead serious. And I was like, so he's like, "You got any questions?" "Yeah."
A
"Who
lot.
in the what pays that?" I'm like, and then, my wife always watch, the housing channel, so I was
Yeah.
watching it, and some people were like, "Yeah, we wanna do this, we wanna finish the basement, we wanna add a bathroom down here, we wanna move the closet, we wanna move the, laundry room from the first floor down to the second floor to the first floor, and we only have $120,000." And they're like, "Yeah, we can do it." And I'm like, just one bathroom. So, I think there's after we approved it, I think it's something that had to go through a home loan guarantee with that, but they are really sticklers on that. And I don't think those contractors price gouge like that when they're, dealing with the, veteran or going through the VA. But is there a list of does the VA have a list of vendors that they use when it comes to that, or the veteran just they find like three, get three quotes and they go from there when
Yeah,
it
so
comes
that
to that?
kind of goes into that piece that they used to have a VA builder ID associated with
Okay,
builders. Now, pros and cons. One, if you have a renovation company yourself or you're a general contractor, now you can go help veterans and there's less red tape. The other side, which is a kind of a false positive for veterans, is that if a home, let's say you find a contractor and they're like, "Oh, they're VA approved," then you think, "Oh, the VA trusts them and they are automatically going to do a great job." And that's not the case. It's like a super simple process. You just submit like experience and then like some paperwork. It's not much in
it's
any
not
way.
in
It's like
depth.
VA condo approvals. Like people are like, "Oh, it has to be VA approved, otherwise, yeah." I'm like, "Nah, any condo could basically be approved with a or be denied, and you could still buy in it with a waiver. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. It's a good decision." So when looking at contractors, yeah, definitely make sure you do some shopping, and make sure that you express what you want to be done. I cannot stress
Mhm.
that enough. It's called scope creep. It's like, oh, that's kind of what happened to me. Like started at one, and I'm like, how do we add on 30,000? Well, sir, you wanted all these different things to be added on, and I'm like, why didn't you ask me that up front? So now I
No.
yeah, and I'm like, now man, I just thinking about it right now. I had to even go with the house today, but it's
I
okay. It's
I
okay.
didn't
We're
mean to
gonna
take it.
focus.
I didn't mean to make you
Dwayne, you did
reminisce
this.
about it.
But yeah, so like that's why you guys have to be really careful. And in general, right? Even it's like you file disability, you rush to do something, you can mess it up. You
Yep,
do your V home loan, you think you're gonna get clever, and this happens too, Dwayne, where someone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this because I want to show this with my assets," and all of a sudden now we've screwed everything up.
yep.
So it's really slow is smooth is fast, right? Both Army veterans ourselves, right? So that's kind of like the motto, like slow it down, talk to somebody or do the research so you get to where you want to be on this piece. So
Yep.
we'll jump into Q&As again, guys. Drop Q&As. Make sure you like the live event. I keep losing my mind because of you, Dwayne, getting me heated about that.
That contractor, you're thinking about that
Contracting work,
contractor.
man. But yeah, so make sure you guys like both of our channels, KMD89 and VA Housing Education. We have a long format videos on pretty much all this stuff. So let's kind of kick off what people are saying. VBI Consulting LLC. We ready? Thank you for
We
joining us,
ready.
Grace. She joined me yesterday, so thanks for
Yeah.
coming back again. I really
You know,
appreciate it.
Grace is the one that says, "Dwayne, are you guys gonna be snitching?" Yep, we're gonna be snitching. We snitching, Grace. We snitching.
Yeah, she's great. She's always
Yeah.
on the Jamie, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Dream uh Caster, he was on our event yesterday, so thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. Good
Cool.
evening. Thank you for joining us. Got D Will. Hello all. Will Prosper.
Prosper,
We are
yeah,
live. Let's
in the
go. And then
Philippines. What's
also,
going on, Will?
I know, yeah, let's go, Dwayne.
Uh,
All right,
whoop,
from
whoop.
Don Hunt. Hello. Thanks for everyone for dropping some comments in, and make sure you guys are asking questions. This is what we're here for.
Oh, yeah.
We take time out of our days, especially in the evenings, because we know you got a job during the daytime, and it's really hard to be like, "Hey, how can I listen in?" And we know there's a lot of veterans out there that have questions because we talk to them all the time
Mhm.
about VA disability and the home loan. Or if you don't know someone, there's definitely some of your colleagues are talking about that. So thanks for joining us on that. All right, so we got our first question here. So what do I do if my home would have never qualified for a VA loan because the VA never looked at it, but the appraisal report says it's on a slab and it's not, and it says city water and it's not. All right, so that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
The back of the home is built like a porch with no insulation, and the AC is going out less than a year after buying it. So I think Joseph, in your situation, are you saying that what do I do for my home? If you use the VA loan to actually purchase that property, or are you saying that because of the things that were found that the VA appraiser missed, that it would have never qualified for a VA loan? Now, Dwayne, we do get that from individuals, right? And sometimes there's some confusion around the process of going through a home buying process. So one, the VA does have stricter requirements than a conventional loan because they have what's called the minimum property requirements, the MRPs. Now, this is public information. So if you go to any search engine, type in VA handbook and put in minimum property requirements, you're going to find the exact things that they're looking for. Not only that, these appraisers are really appraisals in general are subjective. So if I give an appraisal with no value to five different appraisers, they'll come back with five different values. They use a sales contract when you purchase a property as a marker for the like projected what the value that they're going to be targeting, right? And that's a reality of it because if they can't reach that sales priced value, they issue what's called tidewater. That's where the appraiser is having a hard time to be able to meet that criteria. They reach out to the lender reach out to the realtor to submit comps to the appraiser so they can then justify the value. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And there's different ways to do that. And that's all like real technical, and I don't want to bore anybody.
Yeah.
If you get a home, see, this is why also it's important to have a home inspection, because if you rely on the VA appraiser, they sometimes like just walk in, walk out. Like my place should have never, ever passed the VA appraisal. It passed with flying colors. But that was a good thing because I'm doing a renovation on it, right? So you guys will start seeing me move around different backgrounds here shortly. It's gonna be great. I'll be mobile. But that's why you hired an inspector. Now, even when that happens, okay, they can still miss things. Okay, so even let's say you got a a loan, you got an appraiser, you got an inspector, they all missed it, which may sound like what situation is, Joseph. um, then you would have to kind of figure out if they're who's liable for those things, because the VA isn't going to go back and say, well, the VA would have never approved this. And I literally just had a conversation with someone that happened to, right? Even when I bought another place, there was supposed to be two bathrooms, but the downstairs basement, the bottom of the shower wasn't even connected to anything. So it was a total scam. And this is a long time ago. Now I know better, but it's like buying properties is definitely an experience in that. So
You know what I saw the other day? I was in my guest bathroom, and you know those the door, the what they call them, the hinges. They have that little thing to go down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was missing three. It's 10-foot door, and they only had one. I'm like, how are we closing it? No, I had two, and so I had some extra ones. And I'm like, how did I miss that on the walkthrough? You know, it's something that you don't look for. But I'm like, man, if I ever buy another house, I'm definitely looking for that.
Yeah, and the thing too is that when you do these different home inspection companies offer different warranties. Some offer like a 1 year warranty from the time they inspect it, and then others there's nothing. So just kind of do some research, and don't forget, when you're buying a home, you need a termite inspection. Some companies will include a termite inspection for a veteran that's using their services. So
Yeah.
I actually will be doing a video here next month with a home inspection company that offers those for at no charge, because they're normally $200 to do. So it's, hey, $200 is $200. That's a lot of money. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're going through that process.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to say, Jay, good evening. I'm happy to be back. Lightning killed my modem. Sorry to hear that.
Ooh,
Missed
yeah.
my education. Well, welcome back.
And before we move forward, we want to give our thoughts and prayers out to the people there in Texas.
Yeah.
They're going through that flood, and I don't watch that much news, and I saw it. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, where is that at? You know, but definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to those individuals.
Oh, thank you for that, Dwayne. So next one, Texas prices went up 18% each year through the COVID scamdemic, and then
Hmm.
went down 20% 24 after rates went up. It's still dropping. Yeah, so Texas is one of the biggest markets that we're seeing a shift in rates going down. And I'm trying to pull up on the side here. I actually have the data of that. So, yeah, Florida and Texas, and then actually, surprisingly, California is starting to see price drops. And one of those reasons is, Dwayne, is that there is a surge of inventory hitting the market. And this is the funny part of this whole thing. People were complaining for a long time that there wasn't enough inventory on the market. Now that inventory is hit, now they're complaining that, now it's another thing that they're complaining about. So, when you have a flood of houses for sale, right? And we don't know if it's like what's it called? Like, people are like, oh, it's BlackRock. They bought all these homes. Now they're dumping
Hmm.
them. We don't know what's happening, right? It could be individuals moving, and we typically see 5 to 7 year moving periods as it is. Okay, so within a normal cycle, you're going to move, right? You don't always just stay at the same place. Um, so keep that in mind when we're going through that. All right. So someone's saying good evening to someone else. Well,
Hmm.
perfect. Don Han, hello. Thanks for joining us. Jay, hello. Oh, they're just having a conversation.
Pay
Shay, good
attention,
evening.
people. Pay attention. You're in
Pay attention
class.
and drop those questions in because we're going to be getting through them.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so this is a Gracie. I would like to look up Miss Lourdes, the young lady you previously had on you. Where I find her? Grace, just reach out to me. If you just if you schedule an appointment with me, I can share all that contact information with you. I promise you could schedule a call. You'll actually get a hold of me, um, and then I'll be able to get connect you guys. But no, she's phenomenal. She's been helping a lot of people.
She's like the Windy City Rehab #2 lady, right?
Yeah, she's no, she's awesome. Like, she's got a lot of knowledge about, uh, you know, the investment piece, the real estate piece. She's also an Army veteran, so like that's what we try to do. Like with these collaborations, it's like, how do we bring in people that are smarter than like in the other subject, like VA disability?
Right.
I don't. I mean, I understand it, right, going through it, but like I need someone that like 100% knows how to answer it, and vice versa with VA home loans, right?
Mhm.
So great. That's great if your doctor will go do that cause mine won't. I think he's
Yeah,
referring to what you talked about earlier about signing off on something.
that's great if your doctor hmm.
Was it weren't you talking about like your doctor saying, oh, that was for the specially adapted housing grant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what's
yeah.
what's yeah, so how does that work? So like why won't doctors sign off on that you being
I just think some doctors, they just don't wanna do it. Um, eh, you know, I've heard different reasons, you know, but if someone's been treating you for a while and you have those, you meet that criteria, I don't see why they wouldn't wanna do it, but some of them they don't. I've been to doctors and, say, "Hey, I need this completed." They're like, "Oh, well, you gotta do like 6 months of physical therapy. You gotta do," I'm like, "No, I'm not doing all that." But, there are doctors out there that will do it. You just gotta find them.
Oh, I got you. I got you. You in Florida, man? They saw you had a video for that. That's so funny. We had trauma in here. Bathroom's like 30K max, man. Must be. I don't
Uh,
know. You know what? I think it's debatable
it's
because
Florida, man. It's Florida. That's what it is. Florida is horrible for contractors. Either
why is that?
I don't know, because they all be like, "Oh, I got all these jobs," because you got all these apartments going up, you got these homes, and me, I'm like, you know what? I may have to hire a second person to, help out, whatever. I think they overextend themselves. They just, yeah, I can do crown molding for 100 hours for 100 houses in a week. No, you can't, unless you got like a team of 60 people or maybe more than that, right? But either they won't come out,
We've talked about that.
yeah, or they'll come out and won't give you the estimate, or they'll come out and give you an estimate where they know you're not gonna agree to it. You know what I mean?
Which is
So,
crazy. Yeah, and I've
uh,
seen that too, where they overestimate just so they don't get the job, and you're thinking to yourself,
why
uh,
even pick
yeah.
up the phone, So, but yeah. So individuals, I know a lot of people probably already know VA Benefits Navigator, myself and another veteran, we created a tool to help veterans build their own VA claim educational packet. I also put a link to my monthly webinar, which actually we're having it this Saturday, where you can learn a little bit about me, which you should already know a lot. Um, what about my company, what it is we do, what it is we don't do, and how you can work with us. A lot of people say, "Oh, all consulting companies are the same." It's a lot of things that I don't do. I love educating people on this process, and that's what we're doing tonight.
That's what we're always
Educating.
doing.
Yep.
This is a good question. Are contractors supposed to work for veterans for free like they expect claim experts to? No. But I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of resources out there. Okay.
Yep.
Like I'll give you an example. There's a nonprofit by me that does free roof. They replace your shingles. There's no income requirement. You just have to be a veteran. And they can't get people to sign up. I want you to hear that again.
Give
Free,
them.
free shingle replacement if you are a veteran. No income requirements. You're just a veteran. Hey, they have companies out there that are willing to put the time in. They have companies are donating the shingles.
Yeah.
They don't have enough people to accept it. Now,
You,
yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
just that maybe really bad marketing.
No, I was going to say, give me
So
their number. I would pay for them to come.
Well,
put them
that's
up in a
Florida.
hotel for a week, because you can't get anybody down here to do something like that. But, I get it because when I first started my business, I was doing like 9 or 10 training sessions a month, and they were free, and I could not get people. People would sign up, but they would not show up.
Because they had not invested with
And then
money.
I would charge, like, some ridiculous amount, like $9.99, $7.99, and people would show up, same information, and I'm like, even now, I tell people where I'm at outside of YouTube, where they can show up for free. I did this, I think it was the year before last I stopped, where every th once a month, 3rd Thursday of every month, this local community college here in Tampa, I did an hour and a half presentation. I was telling people on YouTube, "Hey, just show up for free and just, I got a little short presentation, ask me questions." Could hardly fill the seats.
Isn't that
Free
wild?
information, free. So when people say, "Dwayne, you know, charging $9.99," I'm like, I got a team. We put this stuff together. They work. I got to pay them, right? They work. And those training sessions, and I don't know if I got people that probably attended any of them. I say they're 60 minutes, and I always go over. One time I went over like 2.5 hours. I didn't have anything to do. We was just everybody on there just talking about VA compensation claims. But yeah, I get it. I get it. Some I don't know what it is. Vets, you all let us know. Because I can't figure it out. If that company was here in Florida, oh yeah, they would have plenty of business.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of also services that like have you could try Habitat for Humanity. That's one
Yeah.
huge one.
Hmm.
There's also if you need legal help, there's plenty of
Yeah.
and not only that, if you guys don't know, you have attorneys that give time to these nonprofits for you to help you with legal things or as simple
Wills.
wills, power
Yep.
of attorney.
NDAs.
Yep.
Not NDAs.
On
What is it?
some business things, they
NDR.
won't, because 'cause I've been trying to find one that does trust, and I haven't been able to. Normally you gotta pay because it takes a lot of time, but the also courts have veteran courts.
Yep.
And you
Hmm.
lot of I didn't even know that until recently, and they're like, "Yeah, we've been around forever," and I'm like,
Yep.
"Man," like,
Yep.
not that I'm going to jail or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it's good to know, you never know, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's good to just have that information because you run across a lot of veterans, like, you and I, Dwayne, talk to a lot of people. Then I'm like, "Did you know about this resource, this or this?" And a lot of times it's based on your situation, so that's why it kind of varies. So Joseph says hello. He's got a few questions for us, so I'm sure we're
Where
gonna
are
see
they
them
at?
here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Someone here, great discussion. I'm currently going through a VA approval now. Not sure if that's VA loan or disability or
It gotta be
both.
a VA. I think it's home loan. That's why I took
Home
it
loan.
as VA
Well,
approval.
definitely you
Yeah.
should reach out to me in the description. You can schedule a call and actually talk with me. And Dwayne, it's funny. The way I talk to you and I talk is how I talk to people on the phone. And they're like, "Oh, it is you." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is me." Like we literally talk like yeah, we talk the exact same way. So if
Uh,
you guys have questions, please someone's saying aloha from I don't know where this is. Maybe you do, Dwayne.
no, Jay,
I don't
we
know. But thank you for joining us from this
yeah.
place.
Mhm.
Jipibach. I'm sure it stands for saying peace and prosperity. Thank you.
Alright.
How does the 70% income work, or is it calculated when purchasing a second VA property? I'm not sure. That was very truncated. Are you referring to if you have if you're buying a multifamily property, right? You can use 75% of the proposed rental income minus the unit that you're living in if you have 6 months of principal, interest, tax, and insurance in a
Mhm.
reserve. A property that you're departing, right, is offset by what the market rent is. So if your mortgage payment is 2000 right now and you can get 2000, then your mortgage payment is offset for the purposes of qualifying for a second mortgage. I hope that was clear as mud. Best thing to do is schedule a call because, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I can get like real technical on something, and then I'm like, well,
Yeah,
we're missing like what's your specific situation to
right.
be on that.
Yeah. Vets asked me, I got a quick question. When it comes to VA, there's no such thing as a quick question unless you're asking me, what does the letters VA stand for? That's the only quick question, you know.
Yes, 100%. All right, let's go to our next one. Can you talk about how a VA rating affects taxes in Texas? Yes, I can. Um, so taxes, if you have depending on your disability rating, you can get property tax breaks. This both includes using a VA loan, not using a VA loan, having a home, and then getting your disability and then filing for it. What I'll tell you is that it can change based on the county. And like in Illinois, where I'm at right now, the state has a law, but then the counties do their own thing, right? They have the
Mhm.
general thing, but then how they do it, I'm like, this is so wild to me. It's just crazy because then I explain it to one person, they're like, oh no, this is not true, and then we go to another one. I'm like, all right, we're just going in circles. And so yeah, you would definitely look it up in the county. Normally, like in Texas, if you're 100% permanent total and then meet some criteria like acreage, square footage, then you get the tax exemption. Texas, for the most part, from my understanding, is that taxes are paid current. So you'll be able to get the exemption pretty quick. Unlike Illinois. So if you buy in 25, your exemption won't hit till 27. So big,
27, not
yeah,
26?
because taxes are paid in arrears. So
Okay.
that's why it's also important to understand when I ask someone, like, are your taxes current or in arrears? They're like, I don't know what like, what? No,
Yeah.
I pay taxes. And I'm like, okay. So when you how your real estate taxes work for everyone out there, and if you're a homeowner or not, like this is all relevant because you may have family that owns homes, and one day you may have to do estate sales. You got to know all this stuff at some point, okay, people? Um, Taxes in 2025 are in arrears if you're paying 2024 taxes. You can see that on your tax bill. It'll say 2024 taxes due in 2025, and if you're paying current, then you're paying 2025 taxes in 2025. If your taxes are current, you get your disability rating, you get your property tax adjustment much quicker than it is in arrears because you have to wait for a full year to pass before you can get your exemption kicked in because you didn't live in the house a full year that you owned it. That's why it's so technical.
And you
Next,
said all that and didn't even take a breath. You were like
I know. All right, can you use a VA loan overseas? You can use it within the United States and its territories.
Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands?
I don't know. We have to look it up. I don't really do those. But what you can't see, but you can't, like, people are like, I live in Germany. Can I buy a house in Germany? I'm like, no,
No.
you can't. Well, okay. Not to be a negative Nancy, number one, but no caveat. If you buy a home, and I've seen this happen, and I know a lot of people that do this, is they leverage equity in their home to either get a line of credit, do a cash out refinance, and then they use that cash to buy the property overseas. That is something you can do. It's like land, right? Land is a great savings account to build your custom home one day. And people are like, well, how is that? And I have a whole video on that. And like, that's what I did, right? I bought some land up in North Carolina. I'm just paying it off like over the next 15 years. So in 15 years, it's going to be paid off. And guess what? Now I have all that equity in that property. I could use that equity to actually build a house. So I
Mhm.
didn't have to use my VA home loan.
Yep.
So it's VA loan is great, but you have a lot of options. Like, I'm refinancing right now out of a VA loan, and then maybe I'll go back into one or not. So there's just different options that exist. Someone asked David generational wealth question: bidding on homes and auctions to flip out, doing basic upgrades to pass standards, out of pocket funding, only one by one better. Not sure what the one by one part means, but I do have a friend of mine that does bid on homes. They like legitimately, they're like auction sites. You just bid on houses.
Mhm.
Typically, you need cash to do that. Uh, Flipping them is dangerous, just because like if you get something wrong. I mean, I know this also from doing renovations. Like you may think like, oh, this is gonna be pretty simple. All of a sudden, you are 10,000 extra in. Now you're hitting your margins. Does the then you have places where home values are not as good, but they have good rents because maybe they have like uh like HUD Vash vouchers and stuff like that. So sometimes the money's in the rent, not in the home value. So those are things to consider on that.
Yeah.
Can I use it to purchase a property overseas? Oh no, so we answered that already. Grace, MRP for to know another research project. Yeah, so definitely another research project, and I believe I have a video on that on my channel. There's got to be somewhere on there. If not, I'll make one next week. So again, Dwayne's registration page. Question here: we bought a house from an older woman, and she moved into a new construction home. They never installed plumbing or HVAC. Totally scammed her for
Man,
money. Yeah.
crazy, man.
Uh, that's the crazy part. It's like the down. Like I told you, we bought the house. Downstairs plumbing wasn't connected. But it's still the inspector passed it, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, what are these people doing?
They got a kickback.
Uh, yeah,
Kickback.
well, maybe,
Gotta
but
be.
that's why you guys got to go to the home inspection. You got to test everything out.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to do that, right? You can ask to be that. Trey, we got
Yeah.
the
Yep.
golden
Yep.
nuggets.
He gives me comments every morning. I answer him, Dread. Yep.
I know. Grace, thank you.
Yep.
Someone answered the question: can you buy a property overseas? Only U.S. territories like Puerto Rico,
Yep.
amongst others. But again, there's ways to be able to do it. 100%. We have 5 flips on market right now that have already surpassed average days on market. Basically, meaning that in the English, that means they have 5 properties that they are flipped and they've been sitting on the market not selling. Right. So now you're going to start seeing price reductions, and that's where you kind of see that.
Hmm.
David, is there a website that we can watch these markets? If you're referring to what's going on with the housing market to get the real data, so that's the ICE Mortgage Monitor report. It's an industry thing. Okay, so I believe I'm the only one on YouTube that does the videos on them, because you just wouldn't even know this exists. There's there's zero. Even if you look it up, like, it doesn't come up. Like, you have to have an insight on the industry. They account for 99.99% of the data. So you look at raw data. You're not, and they compile it, and then you just basically like making decisions based on real data that's happening, not what you feel, not any of that. It's exactly what is happening in the market, where depressed markets are happening. And like Chicago, for example, like, okay, Denver is losing 20% value. Chicago's gaining 5. The
Hmm.
South to West is losing value, plus Florida, but the Midwest to East, up, or East up, East and up, is values are increasing. So those are just things to consider. So I need assistance using my VA home loan certificate. Reach out to me, schedule a call. Happy to walk you through that. Good evening, just Jex, Florida. Thanks, guys, for great info. 3 several. I'm not sure what that is.
3 several months, but I have patience.
Oh, patience. Okay.
Up in Duval, but in Duval County.
Oh
All right.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida. Oh yeah. Located
Yeah.
in Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. All right, thanks, Grace. It would finally be nice to talk to you. You're in so many of the
Yeah.
events. It's always
Yeah.
awesome to actually talk to the people that that actually do these events.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully, Grace, you're not driving. I told you I was going to tease you about that. Hopefully, you're not driving, Grace.
oh yeah, and if you guys, again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channels. We do a ton of we doing a ton of these um live events, and then also we do static videos on this stuff.
Every second Wednesday of the month, we'd be
Yep.
right here. Yep.
Yep, we do this, and then, like I said, you guys can get a bunch of information. In Florida, like Cali, it's permitting process is really slow. Yeah, I cannot stress how permitting has also made me very angry.
Mhm.
And understand what the cost of it is. Like, I was blown. I mean, I was absolutely shocked on a place that we're doing a renovation on. They did a percentage of the cost of the renovation as the fee, instead of doing a flat fee. So if you have
Hmm.
so if you're doing a $500,000 renovation, let's say, they can charge you like 25,000 in permits versus doing like a flat fee.
Wow.
It's wild to me.
Right.
So this is why you have to know all these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, overextension, like we were
Yeah.
saying, common problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of these areas too, where they may have like a lot of hot areas, HVAC, I'm
Mhm.
assuming just gouges people.
Yeah. So if anybody know of any reputable contractors that do bath and kitchen here in Tampa, Florida, please let me know.
That
Okay.
is good. We gotta use the platform for good.
I
Good
know,
for
right?
you. It's a half hello. I just got a letter stating that my VA is proposing a reduction of my rating from 90 to 60. Apparently, my sleep apnea and glaucoma is now under control with my CPAP and meds. Dwayne,
That
what?
is not what happened. We just recorded a video. We were talking a little bit about this, and I have a video on my YouTube channel called Adverse Action, and I have a couple of videos coming up. So what happens is a lot of veterans they put that increase in when you receive a rating decision. The VA tells you they have to tell you by law why they granted, let's say 10%, and they also have to tell you why they didn't grant the next higher percentage.
Hmm.
So before you do a claim for TDIU, I just don't like TDIU. I tell people if you see TDIU walking down the street, cross the street, turn around and run for your natural life. It's dangerous. Okay. But understand what those percentages are. Just don't think what they are, know what they are, because if you don't, you'll be in a world of hurt. But if you do get a letter, if you don't take that advice and you get a letter proposing to reduce, look at my video on a YouTube channel called RVSR Hearing. I just recorded another one. We should post about a couple of weeks. Take advantage of that. It's time sensitive. It's time sensitive.
All right. Roofing company like that, they're talking about they actually try to get it covered by insurance first. If they cannot get the replacement, they will
Yeah,
do the repair for free.
yep,
Now, how cool is that? But again, so
yep,
there's it's everywhere. You just have to search for it. If you don't ask, you don't know.
yep. I'm gonna buy Will a plane ticket. He's gonna come in and redo my bathroom.
I like that.
Yeah,
Was it just that's basically kind of what back to what you was saying. Was
yeah.
it just unlucky? Yeah. So you definitely have to count for that.
Well, yeah. Majority of the time they're not going back and look at it. The veteran initiated something,
Right.
and
And
before even
he
if
said
you
for an increase. They
yeah,
initiated for an
yeah,
increase. Yeah.
yep, yep. There it is.
And
There it is.
and so when you do an increase and you are qualified based on the old standards, and now you ask for an increase, you have to qualify in the new standards based on the time that you file.
If they change that diagnostic code
So
criteria.
that's okay. So that's a huge thing. Yeah, yeah, that's
Right,
huge.
right.
Okay. This one's for you. Had a buddy got 10% first time
So,
applying, got letter. They said some at higher level and added 10 more percent than
because
they are
right.
reviewing because of
Um,
errors.
there's a lot of errors. There's a lot of DTA errors, duty to assist errors.
Okay.
They don't bill raters like before. When I rated, I mean, they held your feet to the fire. There was, repercussions, consequences, and repercussions. Now they're just doing whatever. And that's why it's so important for the veteran to understand these regulations and how it impacts what they're doing with their how it impacts what they are doing with their claim. Because if they don't recognize it, that could be a problem. Even in my own claim years ago, I found a $40,000 mistake, and I still can look at stuff.
40,000?
Yes, yes, and I still can look at rating decisions and point out CUEs and stuff like that. Okay, and they're out there, and the veteran is like, "Oh, I got my 100% permanent total." And the first question I ask them, Dave, did they get the effective date right? And you know what majority of veterans ask me? What do you mean? You could be leaving 10, 15, $20,000 on the table. And even though you got the 100% PNT and that intent to file, some not intent to file, but some back pay, they still could have screwed up that effective date.
Wow. That's crazy. Don't like that. Hello from
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Oh yeah, Marvin. Thanks. You're like an hour. Bring some cheese curds. Come down south
It's,
and bring
it's
some cheese
snowing
curds
up
with you.
there. It's
It's not
snowing
snowing up there yet.
up.
Not
Okay.
yet. Not yet.
Walk outside.
No, it's actually been really nice. This one is a valid question. I actually do get this a lot, Dwayne. How do
Yeah.
I know if I'm rated 100% permanent in total?
Uh,
This is like
No,
a real thing.
right. Normally I say I got a video on that. I just recorded a short on it.
Did you?
So yeah, so how you know when you're permanent total? they're not going to say you're service connected P&T. They're going to say they granted you Chapter 35. Look for that Chapter 35. You see Chapter 35, that's what they're saying you are P&T.
So like that's when you get the champ VA. Your student
Yeah,
loans
yeah,
are going to be paid
all that.
off.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So keep
Mhm.
that in mind. Have they done any? I know there's a lot of student loan drama. Like people are defaulting at like a crazy
Yeah.
high rate right now. But
They
is there
they froze that. They froze it. I don't
what?
know if it's unfroze. I did a video. I always say that. I did a video on it where the U.S. Department of Education, they froze the application. So I think somebody had left me a comment saying that they submitted the they no, I'll take that back. They were telling them to still submit their application, if they're 100% permanent total, submit their application because they used to just the VA would send them like the veterans data and say, hey, this veteran's 100% P&T now. Go ahead and discharge it. But veterans can still submit the application. So I think December they put a freeze on it or they froze it. So I don't know
Yeah, we were
if they
talking about
lifted
that.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
got it. So just
Only
as
thing you do
Frank
is just
says,
submit it. Yeah.
clear as
Submit
mud.
the application.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. Next question, served 83 to 85, was let go due to overweight issues, less than 24 months service, but now rated at 70%. Can I get a VA loan? Rich, thanks for watching. So, this is the crazy thing. There are veterans out there that are 100% permanent in total that do not qualify for VA home loans. And it's all about how you get discharged. So, Richard, you made a very specific point to say 24 months. Now, if you served on active duty and you got a general discharge and you served less than 24 months, potentially you may not qualify, but don't disqualify. Like if you've been trying to request your certificate of eligibility and you have been unsuccessful, reach out to me. I can help you do that. I'm not charging you to do this, right? We'll do the work. I'll submit what I need
Mhm.
to get you where you want to be and do whatever you want to do. But if you got a medical discharge, even if you served one day, you qualify for the VA loan. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. Felix, it's okay. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay.
Felix, did you get the book? Did you get the book yet? I sent it. I mailed it.
All right. This one, Dwayne, I should review DBQ and the criteria 38 CFR for each CMP, right? Just getting
Yes.
ready,
Yes.
anxious.
Do the homework. Do the homework. And
And then,
also understand how you claim that condition. Is it a new claim? Is it a pre-service aggravation? Is it direct service connection, secondary, presumptive? Understand how you claim it because that way you can reasonably articulate that to that examiner so they
oh,
understand it as well.
no, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that. Let me see. Where did we leave off right here? So
Uh,
Richard said it wasn't medical. So yeah, so you might not be able to use it, but again, schedule a call because let's pull a certificate and submit everything to the VA anyway.
mhm.
Um, thank you for joining us. So is LA trending up as dark as a good time in buying a house? LA values are trending down right now, but that's because they're extremely overpriced and it's very expensive. So they have a lot of people that are also like holding selling properties, just because they wouldn't be able to relocate to another place and be able to afford the payments. And we're going to kind of go into a speed round because we have about 7 minutes left and I need to hit the road here in a little bit. Can I use my HUD-VASH voucher and my VA loan to purchase a home? Normally, you can't use a HUD-VASH voucher when you're owning a property, so that will go away. But there are sometimes programs that'll help you pay for X amount of months after you become a homeowner. Or if you talk to your HUD-VASH consult, like people you're working with, sometimes they put up a program to help you with down payment assistance for when you do buy a home. Next one, we joined Dwayne's plan of membership and it's been fantastic, well worth the money. So that's awesome.
Mhm.
All right, uh,
Duval,
awesome.
Jacksonville,
Where's the next best market to purchase property? That's a great question.
Pattaya, Thailand.
Yeah, I know. I mean, listen, if I knew we'd be buying up all the properties. Markets are shifting really fast. That's conducting to buy. Yeah, it depends. I know market values are going down in certain areas of LA, but it's really going to be based on your financial picture. Can you afford it today? And what does that look like? Just to be honest with you, otherwise you're going to be trying to catch all this stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with us. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Um, that permit is horrible. That is ridiculous. The government is bankrupt and they're getting greedy. Well, I think a lot of times some of these requirements they have for getting these permits is wild. Also, get SC for glaucoma.
Yep. I rated a couple of those cases. Yep.
Cool. This one is Dwayne. I just wanted to say thank you so much for so much watching your videos. I was able to get myself 100% PNT. If anybody reading, make sure you watch all of Dwayne's videos from beginning to end. LOL. Tough love.
Yeah. Congrats. Everybody put a fire emoji in the comment section.
Yeah, buddy.
Congratulations. Yeah.
That's
Whoop,
awesome.
whoop.
And yeah,
Yeah.
right now we're reading out all the questions because you know what, Dwayne, I've had a lot of people ask us to fully read the questions, like comments,
Mhm.
because they're driving, they're using these as podcasts in the background. So they're like, oh, I didn't even know what the question was. So that's why I'm reading everything so you guys can do, kind of watch this in the background or while you're driving, because that's what Dwayne does with my videos. He listens to them while he's driving around.
Yeah.
That's why now I've explained everything and I read everything that I'm saying, so everyone knows. Careful what you ask for, man. I will build a desk and never leave. So that's not
I
good.
I'll get your own personal floaty for the pool, Will.
Oh yeah, so you got a nice pool. Sacramento, thank you for all your help. Appreciate it. So it's medical general conditions. That's for Richard talking about serving less than 24 months. But again, that's something we just want to be able to submit. So say thank you. Pattaya Beach.
Thailand, they're talking about
Thailand.
Thailand,
Oh, we're
yeah,
talking about Lion. All
yeah.
right, really appreciate both of you. I had a positive private DBQ and a negative ACE exam. Which one wins with the Raider? Do I need to get another piece of VA evidence to outweigh the negative? Emoji crying.
Hey, just go back to your private doctor, get another DBQ, have them to date it, a different date, and the evidence is in equipoise, but it's gonna depend on the rater's desk. So if it landed on my desk in that rating decision, I'm gonna say the evidence is in equipoise, and then I'm gonna bring up reasonable doubt. When he brings up the 38 CFR that covers reasonable doubt, I go ahead and grant the benefit in favor of the veteran. There's not too many raters left that will do that.
Oh, definitely. We got those fire emojis going from
Yeah,
earlier. Hell yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, mhm.
Uh, any advice for service members before they retire and
Woo.
using the BDD program?
I got a
Dwayne,
video. I got a video on it. It's an
a
old
whole
video, but it's
video?
still good. Make sure you continue to first get a copy. I think it's a thing called Galaxy or Genesis where you log in and get your medical records. Get it.
Yeah,
Go,
Genesis.
yep, go through it and things you're going to look for: treatment, diagnosis, injury, disease, complaints. Write those down. Get a copy of everything. Put them on a 526EZ. And I think the other form you're going to need is a SHA Part B. I think that's what the name of that form is. And then you can submit that claim at 12:01 on the 180th day. After you submit that claim, continue to go to sick call. Get things documented. Okay? Because if you come off active duty and you only have 90%, you still have things that were documented that you can file. Okay. And BDD claims are easy. You can do those yourself in your sleep.
That's awesome. Yeah, because also if you get out within a year of service, your conditions are presumed. So if you miss something or you develop things after you get out, it's a little bit
30
easier.
38 CFR 3.309 subpart A, 1 year presumptives.
Wow.
Guess what's on there? Arthritis. We all got arthritis in the joint. Don't say if it's mild, moderate, severe. It just says arthritis.
Look at that. Dropping nuggets left and right. Awesome.
Awesome.
Live chat's dropping the nuggets. Yup.
Oh, yeah.
Let's finalize. What's this?
A routine future exam after 6 years. Should the effective date for the rated residuals be? No, that's not how routine future exams work. Make sure you watch my video on that.
Grace saying, I swear I'm not driving. I drove West Virginia Purple Heart Trail yesterday. And yes, she
Okay.
did, because she was messaging when she was doing that.
When she was
Yesterday.
driving.
I
Okay.
don't know if it was on that.
Grace,
On
you
that
be
like,
careful now.
Yeah, hi, this is my first time here. Welcome. Thank you. I approved for 70% disability. It took 8 years. Wow.
Woo! But you got it. You stuck with it.
All right. Someone said, David, where does a veteran new to the Fort Campbell area in Tennessee go to apply for the HUD VASH vouchers? So you would go to the closest VA. To my knowledge, they're the ones who administer those. Now,
When you
this is
say
where it's
VA, are you talking about regional office or
no, it's like the VA like the closest VA hospital, like the ones that and
huh.
I think this is different everywhere you go. And I'm going to say think because you can go to a couple different places on how you get these vouchers. One, the VA has somebody at the VA, like I have people's cards here from Illinois VA from Hines that says like, "Hey, I administered the HUD-VASH program," right? So they come to their people, and then they administer it. Other places, you may have to go to like a housing authority for your area that will then give those out because you may not have someone by you. So I would definitely reach out to your closest VA and ask for the HUD-VASH department. If that doesn't help, go to your county housing department or your state housing department. And then they will be able to provide you with the exact information because it is very different everywhere you go. Um, so let me just see if there's anything else. That's it. Any advice on finding a realtor that understands how to use a VA loan? Yeah, I would definitely reach out to me and happy to connect you with some people for that because it's all about a team when you're going through the home buying process. It's like VA disability. Like if you're not surrounded by the right team, at least getting the right advice, it can make life a lot more difficult. But I think we're gonna close things out, Dwayne. I really appreciate everyone that joined us tonight.
Yep.
Make sure you don't disqualify yourself. If you're looking to be a homeowner, reach out to me. Go to my YouTube. Every description you're going to see to schedule a call with me. So that way I could walk you through that process. And even if you're not in the market now, trust me, everyone's talking about housing. At least stay up to date. And, when you got some downtime, check out the videos. Make sure you like them, share them with the veteran community. Dwayne, closing words for this day.
Stick with it. Don't give up on your claim. I hear a lot of vets say, I'm just tired. I'm going to give up. And I'm like, nowhere. I think in any branch, under any branch, they say they give you a class on how to give up. It's not always a fun process. It can be frustrating, but hey, we're soldiers. We're built for this. So, and it's a lot of information out there. You're providing a VA home loan. I'm on the compensation side. Just invest the time. You got to invest the time. We see a lot of people that support us. We call them out. We like Grace. We know Grace likes to drive when she's getting on these lives. I asked, uh, I asked Felix, hey, did you get the book? I recognize people's pictures, their names. They are investing the time. Invest the time. Get educated. Reach out. Get your questions answered.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight. You guys have a great evening, and we'll catch you.